In the heart of London, on a foggy morning, a peculiar letter arrives at 221B Baker Street. A mystery unlike any other, a question that spans centuries of history and injustice.
Dear Mr. Holmes, I have a mystery, an old one, shrouded in both history and injustice. It involves a debt that has remained unpaid for over a century, and its effects continue to ripple through society. I request your expertise in uncovering why reparations promised long ago have not been paid. Yours sincerely, a friend in need. Watson, it seems we have a case, a debt that has lingered for over 100 years. Let us uncover the truth.
Holmes and Watson dive into the past, piecing together the history of an unfulfilled promise, 40 acres and a mule, a debt left unpaid since the end of the American Civil War. The promise made to formerly enslaved people during the Reconstruction era.
The United States government, in an attempt to rectify the horrors of slavery, promised land and resources to the freedmen, but the promise was swiftly rescinded. Why? Political resistance, fear, and deep-seated racism. Powerful forces had too much to lose. The landowners, the wealthy elite, they needed black labor to sustain their wealth and social order.
Holmes uncovers the real reason behind the rescinded promise, an intricate dance of political maneuvering. Landowners in the South, fearing economic collapse without the free labor of black Americans, lobbied for the return of stolen property. The promise of reparations was buried beneath layers of political deceit. These promises were made, but they were not kept. The wealthy elite, desperate to maintain their power, saw the newly freed people as a threat to their prosperity. Reparations would expose their complicity, their wealth built on the backs of enslaved people.
Mr. Holmes, you've unearthed the history, but the question remains, why has this debt not been paid? Why are we still fighting for justice more than a century later?
The issue lies not just in policy, Mr. Blackwell, it lies in the psychological denial of the nation. Slavery was not just a past wrong, it was an ongoing system. The refusal to acknowledge its lasting impact is what prevents reparations from becoming a reality.
As Holmes digs deeper, he reveals another truth. The political resistance to reparations is not only economic, but strategic. Powerful corporate interests, whose fortunes were built on slavery and its aftermath, work behind the scenes to maintain the status quo.
The true barrier to reparations lies in the refusal of those in power to confront their past. These industries, these families, have a vested interest in maintaining the silence around the truth.
Holmes uncovers the final piece of the puzzle, a psychological barrier. The public's denial of the scope and brutality of slavery. By denying its ongoing legacy, the nation absolves itself of the moral responsibility to pay reparations.
By erasing the history, by diminishing the pain, they prevent the reckoning. The debt remains unpaid because the society refuses to face its moral failure. The debt is not merely financial, it is a moral and psychological burden. Until the nation is ready to confront its history, its legacy of exploitation, reparations will remain a distant dream. The truth, Mr. Blackwell, is the true cost of this debt.
Holmes' investigation reveals more than just a historical failure. It uncovers the hidden forces, psychological barriers, and economic interests that have kept the promise of reparations out of reach. The question remains, will the nation ever confront its past, or will this debt remain unpaid, hidden in plain sight?